Man here. Okay, so yesterday I posted my video in response to the assassination of a man, Charlie Kirk, and I had to turn off comments, which I don't remember the last time I had to do that. I really don't. I don't know if I ever done it. Well, I've had comments off maybe accidentally or maybe once or twice for I don't know, but I can't even remember because I got comments that were just vile and reprehensible, and I also got things said that made absolutely zero sense, had no logical bearing in reality, even a little. And I got an email that I was quite shocked by and might spell the end of a friendship. I am extraordinarily shocked, surprised, appalled by the reaction of humans to this assassination, this murder of a human. Well, I don't care if you don't like somebody. I don't value celebrating human death. And if you do, I don't want anything to do with you. Period. Okay, I just don't. And I just make that real clear. So if that's you, then we can go ahead and part ways, and you don't need to let me know. You just disappear, whatever. I disagreed with things that were said of that individual, but I did not want to see him killed or hurt or silenced. I wanted to see him get debated. I wanted to see his ideas be overturned with logic and reason. That's what I want. Hi, everybody. I'm Nitty Filbert. So, I read, hopefully I won't get too emotional because I want to be logical, but I read and heard that, and I saw videos of people celebrating the guy's death. That's, it makes me pity. It's just go, well, that I lost more faith in humanity. I'm always losing faith. I lost faith in God a long time ago. Now I'm losing faith in humanity. And it's what at cheap, Chat GPT. Sometimes I type stuff at it, and it actually wrote something kind of profound about my feelings. So I'll read that, and then I'm going to read my blog that I wrote, and we'll just go, and then I'll just kind of pontificate from there, I suppose, because otherwise, I don't know, So I said to ChatGPT, this man got murdered over what? Politics, speech? It's just one more needless death in the world. And ChatGPT said, yeah, that kind of thing hits hard. When someone is killed for politics or speech, it feels like the very idea of dialogue and disagreement got replaced with violence. It's senseless and adds to the weight of all the other needless deaths in the world. Even if you didn't agree with his views, it's still a human being who was gunned down for expressing them, and that's tragic. It makes sense you'd feel shaken and frazzled by it. It's a reminder of how fragile things are when people stop reasoning with each other and start reaching for force instead. My God. That's an AI. It didn't say my God. That's me saying my God. That's AI. That's a large language model. So where is the human saying things like that? Because it's, I guess technically it is humans because it's using ideas of humans to generate its responses, but that's the sort of thing I would expect to hear or read from somebody but it's an AI that's doing it, you know. So whatever, I don't know. All right. Let me read what I wrote on my blog. I don't know if you guys, girls, robots, etc., know that I have a blog, but I do have a blog, and so I'm going to put it on the screen and I'll read it. If you've already read it, I apologize. But okay. So this is yesterday, and I'll just read it. And if I'll put it in the thing. It's lobsterlogic.blogspot.com. So, and I posted on my community page, and you can see I've got a lot of things from way back to 2019. So you can go read it. The greatest hits of it, if you're wondering, my view of it is Naka. Read the article I wrote of Naka and The Boy in the Box. Read those. Okay. Okay. Where's the damn thing? Get me in the corner, you stupid. There it is. Sorry. I call it Spread the Hate. Okay. October 10th, 2025, Charlie Kirk was assassinated at a talk he was giving. He was a right-wing advocate. He talked calmly, wanted free speech, loved his nation, and I thought debated well. I disagreed with him on things, but he seemed to be trying to use logic and reason, which I didn't spell right, but whatever, I'll fix that later. Whatever. I don't care. I'll leave it that way. I've seen people writing that he spread hate by the words he was using. Now, I would like to know what the bleep that even means. Seriously. What does that look like? What does spreading hate look like? Can anyone tell me? Because I would love to know. Examples, citations. Show me a truth table that outlines when someone is, in fact, spreading hate by what they say. Oh, right. Asking people to do logic. This is politics. Come on. Logic goes out the window, I guess. Right? But honestly, let's take a big old step back and look at what people might be talking about. Because guessing is all I can do at this point. No one says what he said that was hateful. They don't tell you what it is. Just that he said hateful things. So, the things. You mean the things you disagree with? Those things? Or maybe you mean the cherry-picked quotes that people have tweeted or X'd out or whatever the hell we call that nowadays about him, or political pundits or others have said or written about him. Yeah, no research required. Your thinking's been done for you. Person Z said Charlie bad. Okay. So the only things I can think of that he said that people do not like are like, what is a woman? Or stuff like that. About maybe stuff about abortion, I guess. These things don't seem hateful to me. But then again, I don't believe in hate speech. Because there's no such thing. It's just speech you don't like. I don't know. I guess if you said, I hate X group of people or whatever, then that would be hate speech, I guess. But when I see or hear hate speech, it's just a tool to shut down talk, not to engage, but to undermine. It is an attack on the person, ad hominem. So go on and tell me what the bleep hate is. What are you talking about? Where's the logical underpinning? I should have written that down. I'll add that. Well, no, I won't. I'll add it now. I won't add it in writing, whatever. Because I don't bleeping know. And I'm tired of people saying it without any logical underpinning. Oh, I did write that. Never mind. See, I shouldn't commentary on my own writing because I knew what I was doing, apparently. Use some logic for the love of humanity. Gah! Okay. So, some frustration there, hopefully laced with a bit of logic and reason, I hope. I disagree with him on the abortion thing. Although that I'm trying to rethink about abortion and like, so that's a whole nother topic. The woman thing, okay, the trans woman thing, this has unfortunately become a talking point of some right-wing conservatives. And I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's a bad tactic for them. And I'm not sure what the goal is. And I don't know if they're trying to make a point or not. But here's one thing I have noticed. Very few people actually give a definition. Now, there's many ways to respond to this question. First, I never claim to know what a woman is, or man, or whatever. I don't know the definition. That's fine. Do you know the definition? You provide it. Now, somebody I do think challenged him, and he gave the biological version. Fair enough. And say, you're right. That's the biological version. There is also gender as a subset, and here's the definition of that, if you know it. Or maybe you have to look it up. I don't know. I had to look them up because I don't know them off the top of my head. So if the goal of the discussion is I'm asking you to define a word to prove the point that you can't do it or that you won't do it, then I can see that as being a decent debate tactic of a sort. But it's lost on the wider crowd if they don't understand that that's your motive or debate tactic. You have to make it clear what your point is in doing that. Otherwise, people are still going to think and hear. People will hear what they want to hear. They'll pick out the parts, and I saw this happen. There's a thing I did a fact check on what he said because somebody wrote something nonsensical about what Charlie Kirk said, and I had to look up what he actually said, and maybe I'll go into that. But hold on a moment. All right. So, anyways, I'm upset. Let's see. I'll get to chat in a moment because I'm just doing my own thing here. So, anyways, it's a tactic that I don't think was utilized correctly. If it's a tactic, maybe he's just ignorant. I don't know. Language has changed, and the man and woman have more than one meaning, and maybe they always have, and we didn't realize it. I don't know. I had to think about this and read up on it and, work out the logic of it and all that. And I finally realized, wait a minute, I had that in my childhood. We had tomboy. So tomboy is gender. And biological sex is a separate thing from that. And I thought that was one way to look at it. But I've also seen, read, and heard that if you say anything wrong, quote unquote, about gender stuff, that you'll be strung up and put to the cross because you're wrong and you should have educated yourself. I'm not going to educate myself about that stuff. It's not my fight to fight. You remain ignorant of it. I guess so. It's like, you said the wrong thing. Okay. I'm not an advocate for it. It's not, I'm only bringing it up because it's a thing that maybe people are upset about. All right. Okay. All right. Let me read chat and see what's going on here. Let me get you some. What he said that was hateful? Well, you're going to have to provide citations for whatever it is that you know. Before I read anything that you think that he said, we're going to need the citation of where he said this and when. Because how do we know he said it? Unless we have an audio or video recording of him saying it. Because I've already seen him cherry-picked once. So he called God's stoning verse perfect law when it comes to sexual matters. Okay. If he said that, that's hateful. Well, that's a belief that Christians have. I don't agree with it. Nancy Pelosi's husband to release on bail and for patriots to pay for the bond. I don't know what that's about or why that would be hateful. I don't have any idea. Calling the Civil Rights Act a huge mistake and anti-white weapon. Did he do that? I don't know. Now that seems rather. I don't know the full context, so I can't analyze this without the whole context here. Okay, that might be a fact that he's saying. It might not be hateful if he's stating a fact. If he's saying something that is true, it's not hateful. So is it true what he's saying? We need to have a Nuremberg style trial for every gender offending claim that we needed immediately. Did he say that? And if he did, how is that hateful? Because we need a logical chart to show us what hateful is. That's what I'm asking for. So, Nitty, I love that you're trying to get me sources on what he said that you think are hateful, but I need the logical underpinning and the truth table. So go ahead and work on that. Let me know when you're done with it. You can email it to me. I don't know. Well, that's the thing. I don't know what hateful is. That's the problem, isn't it, Nitty? Because it's not me that's making the claim that things that he said are hateful. That's other people. And I'm asking, well, what do you mean by hateful? You want to make a claim that it's hateful, then you're going to need to show me what is and what isn't hateful. And how do we decide that metric? Are we using some sort of a logical system or not? Because if we're not using a logical system, then everything you wrote is hateful. Okay, everything that Nitty says is hateful. Now we can just dismiss what Nitty says and we don't have to think about it, right? Well, that undermines everything you say, doesn't it? And it also either weakens the word hateful so down that it's watered down so that it doesn't mean anything anymore, or it weaponizes war with words. It weaponizes words into war. Oh, he or she is saying hateful things. You mean things you don't agree with. That's what you mean. But now they're hateful things. Ooh. Okay, so no, not my burden. If you want to prove things, you're gonna do it. You're gonna find the proof. You're gonna provide that proof for me. You're gonna give me the citations to the actual videos where he said the things, and that's your burden. If you want to prove this to me logically, if you tell me to do it myself, you can go ahead and fuck right off. And that's not just directed at Nitty, it's directed at anybody. I'm sick and tired of seeing the burden switch. It's not happening on my book. You guys, gals, know better than that. You don't tell me to go Google stuff. You Google it. You make the argument if you want to make it. And that's exactly what I wrote in my blog. And listen, my whole career has been about telling people to use logic. And this incident has shown me that many people are not using logic, and I am tired of it. I'm pissed. I'm angry at it. And it is upsetting to me that people are allowing their emotions or political views or something to disengage their reason and not use logic anymore. You want to prove something, you make a valid and sound argument with citations. If not, don't bother me with it, because I'm just going to have to analyze it for logical fallacies. And then there's just one more video that I've done on logical fallacies, and I go, well, fix your argument. So go fix your argument. I'm not mad at Nitty per se. Nitty says it's fine. Sorry. Nitty, I'll talk to you later. I'm not yelling at Nitty. Okay, Nitty, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm yelling at the world. You can take it. It's not you, Nitty. It's, I'm allowing my emotions to get the better of me. It's, that I've seen that remark written by other people. I know, Nitty, you know better, and I'm not yelling at you. I know that you know what. You probably just wrote Google it because we just say that all the time, and you didn't mean what I took you to mean for it, and so it's fine. It's fine. Okay, I'm sorry. I retract my anger that even seems directed towards you. Okay, withdraw that in full. Yeah, the spread the hate. Yeah, let's spread the hate. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? It's like if you were saying something like all black people need, or all whatever, Mexican, all, white people. I've heard that. I've heard all white people are racist. I've heard people say that. Is that spreading the hate? All white people, all white men. I've heard this repeated on different social media stuff. All white men are that are cis are wrong and evil and vile and stuff like this. And I'm like, well, that's spreading the hate, isn't it? I mean, if you can replace the word white with a different color, green, and then you would get kicked off that platform because it's, a minority group, then maybe it shouldn't be about minority group, but just you are racist. How? Because racist is being against a color skin, right? And bigotry is being against somebody for their category or whatever, I guess, I don't know. It's madness and the illogic and anger and it's insanity in action. That's why I called this. I need to go touch grass. Maybe I do too. Yeah, I've never looked into his background or beliefs. Yeah, that's for sure. Or is that directed at somebody else? I don't know. No, I've heard of Charlie Kirk, and I've doom scrolled. I've seen him. I've heard what he says. I'm not like super versed on everything that he's ever said. But I'm aware of him. He's in the zeitgeist. But I don't know everything. I'm not like a super mega fan of him or anything. I've watched a single debate with him that he did. I believe it was in Oxford, and I'm like, well, damn, he's doing pretty damn good. That's he was impressive. The other side was impressive too. They both held their ground. It was decent as far as debates go. Now, like I said, I don't agree with a lot of ideas that he has, but that's where that ends. It's like it doesn't. I don't allow. Well, I try not to, but they can. I don't want to allow words to hurt me. And I feel like some people allow words to really hurt them, like psychologically or something. It's like, look, if you are like on the internet, goodness forbid, and you get upset about stuff, maybe you don't need to be on the internet. I don't know, because people say some pretty damn hateful things. And it's like, well, we're going to clean up the internet, make it a nice place. No, it's not a nice place. It's a rough place because it mimics the real world. Now, there is a difference. There's a big difference in the internet space versus the non-internet space. There's a couple of differences. One, in real life, some of the stuff you might say could get you, smacked around, which is, we'll get to that in a moment. And being in the room with somebody is different than what we're doing. And then, of course, there's the anonymousness of the internet. And there's a power to be anonymous because you can say whatever and nobody gets to know who you are. And so that idea, and in a way I like it because the idea is completely abstracted from the person. And I'm like, that's perfect for logic because you're supposed to go after the argument, not the person. It shouldn't matter who said whatever. What matters is that stuff. And we need to analyze that and go, okay, here's where that went wrong or whatever. Yeah, if they didn't say horrible, offensive things, we don't have anything to rant about. Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, look, it's and then there's getting smacked in the face in real life. Okay, before I go off into more tangents, but I'm gonna do that anyways because whatever. I don't know. This is Deconverted Man loses his subscriber, the special, I guess. I don't know what the hell this is. I'm sorry, Diddy. I'm sorry. I love you. I'll make my YouTuber apology video to Diddy later. Hopefully he's just like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. He said he was fine. Dave Stewart, fuck you. Yeah. I don't know who you're saying fuck you to. Who are you saying fuck you to, Dave? That's just random. Just, am I missing something? Hey, DM, it's your boy. Hey, Unknown Atheist. Dave, I don't know what you're yelling at. Are you yelling at me? Somebody else? I need more clarification. Just a random fuck you. Getting smacked in real life. Okay, let me talk about this for a moment because it is weird. Do we self-regulate around each other because we're afraid that the other person will smack us if we don't? Like, I think that like, it has to be somewhat true, right? Like you're careful about what words you use. Let's say that you went into a bar, right? It's a biker bar full of these buff dudes and dudettes. You know, they all ride the motorcycles and maybe they're part of a gang. Would you sit down next to like this big burly guy and be like, you're ugly? You know, you probably not a good idea because he's not going to turn to you and be like, why did you say that? It really hurts my feelings, you know. Although that would be funny in a comedy movie, that would be funny, you know. But you would expect that they'd probably just punch you in the face. So you wouldn't say that, even if they were ugly. And I'm not sure why you went into that bar in the first place. But do we regulate our words out of fear that the other person will smack us upside the head? And if so, that's kind of worrying to me. Because shouldn't we regulate our words based on empathy of that I'll hurt that other person's feelings rather than I'm afraid that they're going to punch me? I don't know. None of my chats show up. Okay, let me look on the live thing because I don't know. Chat, you know, SteamYard versus YouTube might be different. I don't know. Let me see. Top chat, live chat. Let's see if I missed anything. That is really. Wait, hold on. Let me refresh the page here because that might affect things. Dealing with technical issues. What the hell? Yeah, Dave, I don't know why you're not showing up. You're showing up here on my side, but you're not showing up on the YouTube side at all. That is really, I don't know what's going on there. You're not banned or anything like that, so I'm also kind of delayed. Interesting. Okay. My theory, but see, Dave, you're here. I see you. You know. But here, let me share the screen. And then this is the YouTube chat, right? And I don't see you at all over here. So I don't know what's going on, man. That's really weird. It doesn't even have you listed as a participant. What the hell is going on? I'm gonna have to look into that and see what I can do to fix that. Make sure you got all messages selected. Yeah, it's on live chat. Weird. I don't know. People have been saying that AI bots are messing with YouTube, so that might be what's going on live. Maybe it's affecting our live chat. That's possible. I don't know. I'll see if I can fix anything on my end. But as far as I know, nobody should be. Well, I did ban one person, but it's not. It wouldn't have been Tab Guy. I forget the name of the person I banned, but he was somebody that doesn't normally comment. I'll have to look into that more and see if there what I can do with it. So sorry, Dave. We'll never know who you said fuck you to. All right, I'm trying to make a little bit light out of a difficult thing. So, sorry. Most of our behavior is based in fear and not knowing how the other person will react to that is the fear. Yeah, I mean that's decent. You know, it's a theory of mine, certainly. It could very well be. So, you know, I don't know. But this whole stuff that's going on, you know, because I don't normally talk about social, political stuff or whatever, but it's like everybody, quote unquote, talked about this man's assassination, and you know, I put in my 2 cents for whatever it's worth, and I'm all about logic and reason and all that, and when I see what I've seen and heard what I've heard and read what I've read, it is something that I'm like, well, I got to be honest with all of you because my duty is to the truth. And some of you like me, some of you don't, some of you might not feel anything. I don't know. But if you're here, that means something. You get some sort of enjoyment out of what I say and do most of the time. Maybe right not now, but you know, in the past. So, you know, it's something. You're all waiting for me to put the lobster on my head for all I know, you know. Should I? I mean, okay, I'll do it just in case, you know. There, okay. It's been done. Is everyone happy now? You know. Maybe I just wanted to do that. I don't know. I'll get back to religion next video, okay? So that's a guarantee from Deconverted Man. So if you're worried about that. Let's see. I don't know if I missed more in chat. So trying to catch up with what everybody said. Apparently StreamYard shows me some stuff and YouTube shows me other stuff. I don't understand anything anymore. I'm just whatever. Let me get back to religion. At least I can understand that. We can all point at it and laugh together. With this politics bullshit, it just sucks, you know? I mean, it's like, look, what's that saying? How does it go? I disagree with what you say, but I'd die for your right to say it. Something like that, you know. For a person and demands logic and reason. You make assumptions about this guy and proceed to whitewash his abhorrent beliefs. I do? Really? Wow. How do you know that I'm making assumptions about him and whitewashing? What do you mean whitewashing his beliefs? If you want, if you know, I said I disagree with some of the things he said. I'm not an expert on everything he said, but in the end, it's not about what he said. It's about that he was assassinated, which is bad. That people are celebrating that, which I see as disdainful and disgusting and vile, and I want nothing to do with those people. And nothing he said deserves to be something that you kill someone over. In fact, nothing anyone says is something that they should be killed over. I don't care what people say. Do, that's a different thing. But say whatever the hell you want. Who cares? Oh, you said the word, Farfignugan. We have to kill you now. It's about what he promotes. Whatever he promotes, that's also, who cares? Whatever, he's free to do it. And if you don't like it, fine, great, wonderful. Then debate it in a valid and sound manner. That's it. That's all we can do about ideas. Is what we must do with ideas we don't agree with. That's all I've ever done, is point out logical fallacies. Well, not all I've ever done, but the majority of what I've done has been point out logical fallacies. So, free speech, exactly. What is he promoting? Like I said, I only know a few things that he's promoted. I don't know everything there is to know about this guy. He was anti-abortion. These are very typical conservative talking points. He preached about the Second Amendment, anti-abortion, and did ask people what a woman was. So I guess somebody might say that he was transphobic or something like that, which I don't know if he is or isn't. And if he is, then okay, we need to figure out, how to identify that and what that means, etc. But I think it might have been a tactic that he was using that went wrong. I'm not sure, to be honest. But other stuff, I don't know. But if you think you can present me with things that he has said that are hateful, great. But to do that, you're going to need to define hateful in a logical way. So this is going to require what's known as a truth table. And those things, if you've never done a truth table, they're very complicated and they suck, in my opinion. But they're very useful. So I can show you a truth table. We can talk about it. I mean, sure, why not? It's my channel. I can do whatever I'll do. Sure, why not? Let's do it. Sure, let's do it. Let's talk about it. All right. Let's show a truth table. Here we go. Yeah, thank you, Wiki. Wikipedia knows what I'm doing. All right. Let's see. And guys, okay, hold on. Before I get to this, guys in chat, everybody listen. I don't care. Unless you want to email me whatever he said, whenever he said it, in an effort to prove that he's hateful, this isn't about what he has said or promoted. This video is about my response to the fact that people are celebrating his death and saying that he deserved it and stuff like that. That's what this video is about. And I am responding to what I perceive as people being illogical. If you feel like I'm whitewashing him or whatever, okay, whatever. I don't know what to tell you. Take a look at this article. Okay, well, you're not going to be able to post an article because you don't have a wrench, and I don't give away wrenches. So you're going to have to send me that in an email. Also, I don't care about an article you're going to need to cite the actual source of when he said what he said, because an article can say anything it wants. And unless it's what he said, I don't care. But again, you're getting off track, because the whole point would be, if you read what I wrote in my blog or heard what I read to you in my blog, if you want to make a chart about what hate is, we don't need to connect it to Charlie. We could just have it in general, how to identify hate speech, or how to identify hatred, or whatever, or however you want to call it. So, okay, here's a truth table. Hold on. Dave says something pertinent. Issue is not what he said. It was that he was killed for what he said. A civilization cannot survive when that becomes acceptable. Indeed. Now, I don't necessarily know that he was killed for what he said, but that's what I mean, it doesn't matter why the person killed him, murdered him. Anyways. Okay, so here's a truth table. Very complicated things. So P, Q, not P or Q, P, Q, it's like, what the fuck? You have to have these fucking logic gates, and you have to go true, false, false. And like your brain starts to melt, because like, if you're saying that it's true, you don't mean that it's true, you mean that it's correct. And then like, you don't mean that it's false, you mean that it's not true, but not true, but also not true. It's just incorrect, and your brain starts to melt, and it hurts my brain. So anyways, this whole thing that goes into it, I've done it maybe once. I've done it once, and it hurt my brain. I can do it. I can't do it live, but I can do it. I can analyze them, but not live, because it takes some bloody effort. And, it's got all the methods, the different, this is the one I'm more familiar with, like this. Obviously, for this one, we'd have something like, let me go ahead and bring up MS Paint. Because why not? Why not explain how we would write a truth table for what hatred is? Because I'd love to see that. It'd be great. Let's underpin what hate is in a logical format. That way I know what is hate, and we're referring to words or speech. Okay, because we got to clarify what we mean. One of these days I'm going to learn how to spell, but it's not today, apparently. Oh, good. I'm not even showing what I'm doing. That's fantastic, Deconverted Man. You know what you're doing. You know what you are doing. All right. You want evidence, and I gave it to you and disregard it. What evidence? Okay, listen, Steve, you can't post links because they will not post correctly, because YouTube has decided that you cannot post links to things. So you will have to email me whatever you want to link me to. Therefore, whatever you've provided, I have not seen. So I'm not dismissing or disregarding it. I'm unable to see what you have provided. But if it's an article, I don't care, because an article is not evidence. What the man said directly is evidence. But, and this is the important part, what I'm talking about in my blog, which is I referenced earlier, and I read out my blog. And if you haven't read my blog and you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, maybe you need to go read that. So go do that before you talk more in chat. Okay, here's my blog. Here it is in chat. Click on that, read what I wrote, and then this is what we are now learning how to do. The function I asked for people to do on my blog was to what did I say? My brain turned off. Truth. There we go. Show me a truth table that outlines when someone is in fact spreading hate. Okay, so that's what I'm asking for in this hypothetical truth table that I'm asking people to produce. Okay, All right, let me get to the MS Paint here. Okay. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, my email is deconverted, DCONVERTDman1@gmail.com. And I would assume most people know that they can access my email by looking at my little, about section or whatever, but I don't know. Anyways, okay. So here's the hypothetical truth table that that whoever would have to construct, okay? So you'd have to have hate words and or speech equals whatever, and then not hate words or speech, and we're saying that this is basically spreading hate is what we're talking about. I guess we don't really need to clarify further. We could say that this table is about that, or maybe maybe that requires a third section, because maybe hate words are different than spreading hate. So we need to then say, okay, what words are hate? Okay, well, maybe the word hate. Okay, great. Now we can't say the word hate speech, because if I say the word hate, then I'm using hate speech. And if we don't like hate speech, then we can't say the word hate speech. So now it's H speech, because we couldn't say the H word anymore. We now have to say H, right? But let's just say that was a hate word. I don't know, racist terms like the N word, I don't know, purple pineapple. Man, I hate that. Any anti-lobster stuff. Okay. Whatever your examples would be. Okay, that's what you would have as hate words in speech. And then non-hate words, you'd be like, okay, you don't have to write every single word, obviously, but you have to define like all X, let's see, non-hate words, nice, good, friendly, helpful, true, useful, honest, I don't know, whatever. You'd have to define what it is. And then, I don't know, spreading hate is like, in front of more than 3 people saying table 1 words, I don't know. And then this is table 1. Yeah, whatever. And that's what you'd have to do, but you'd have to do it in a way that demonstrates that that's what it is. And then now that you have your logic table, you have your nice little truth values, then you go, okay, see, when you said X, Y, and Z, those were things that I identified as hate. But now you got a bigger problem, because what you think is hate, somebody else might not think is hate. So how do we figure that out? Well, now we're going to need a poll of humans. We're going to need to ask humans what they think is hateful and not hateful. And then we're going to take that poll of, let's say, 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 people that we asked that question to. And now we're going to compile that data and add it to our truth values. And now we're going to get a new chart. It's a lot of work. Do you think anyone's done that? No, they haven't. I know they haven't, because they would have shown it if they had done it. Exactly. There you go. It's not determined by logic. Thank you for playing. Okay, then. I don't believe in it, then. No logical underpinning means I don't care and it's not a real thing. It is just a way to shut down things. Now, in Scotland, apparently, I was just told this by a YouTuber who I think, has no reason to lie to me, that they have laws about hate speech. And so certain things you say can get you arrested. And I think Britain or British, whatever the hell that is they're doing over there, somebody was arrested for saying some shit about Christians or something. Or I just read something about now I have to look up what the hell the thing was. Because I don't want to. Okay. Okay, where was this? North Sumatra. Where the fuck is that? Indonesia. Okay, so in Indonesia, apparently they have laws on the books that allow them to ban certain speech. This isn't necessarily hate speech, but they can call it hate speech because to them it's hateful speech. It's determined, what did he say? By culture and context, right? So in the North Sumatra context and culture, they view anything against Jesus as hate speech and something you can go to jail for. So this gal, Ramada, I can't say her name. She was sitting by the court in North Sumatra because she made comments on the image of Christ, and then so she was put in jail for 10 months. And that's from CNN. So there you go. So here in America, she'd say, "Get a haircut, Jesus," and we'd be like, "Whatever, we don't care." Now, here's the scary part. Maybe you guys, girls and robots, don't remember, but I do. Remember the guy that drew Muhammad and got killed for it? Charlie Charlie, whatever. Yeah, wasn't that a thing? Draw Muhammad Day. Maybe we need to bring that back. What was the guy's name? Draw Muhammad Day. What? May 20th, 2010. It was a whole thing, but what was the guy who died because of it? Samuel Patty? No, that Charlie that I can't say his name. This guy's name. I'm not showing it on the screen. Dang nabbit. So this guy, this is who I was thinking about. Charlie Hebdo. And yeah, he was killed for drawing making fun of Islam. So that's not good. But now, they said whatever, and I don't like that. So kill him. Yeah, just kill him. Yeah. It's wrong when the religious people do it. But when we do it, it's fine. Like, what? No, it's wrong. Okay, I don't care what they. It's just. The groupers hate who support Israel. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it means to support Israel or whatever. Like, that's kind of a weird thing to me. I don't know. I know that America has traditionally supported Israel every time for war stuff, and I don't know. We humans must be able to say stuff, and we have to be able to be wrong. Okay, I'm wrong about who knows how much I say. That one guy was complaining that I wasn't being logical enough for him. Fine, great, wonderful. That's a discussion to have. But in some places, I could get killed for saying stuff, and that shouldn't be. And when it happens in America, now I'm not saying that is what happened, but that it can happen or will happen or might happen. And the language that we use about language matters as much as the language itself. We got to stop calling things hate speech or this is just nonsense. It means nothing. It doesn't have a coherent meaning, even if we try to define it. It doesn't really mean anything. And then you're like, well, it kind of does, but it doesn't really mean anything. Just say what they're saying? What did they say? They said something racist. They said something bigoted. We don't need to call it something new unless you want to make a law about it. Why would you want to make a law? To control things. And you might think, well, that's really good because we can get rid of this stuff. Right. But who's in charge? Oh, you really want Trump to decide what is or isn't hate speech? I mean, is that what you're telling me? Because he's in charge right now. So think about it, people. And you might go, yeah, but we'll get Trump out. We'll get in somebody that we like in there, and they'll make the laws that we like. Cool, until the next person comes in. Uh-oh. Because the worst person that you want is the one that's always happens. It always does. Logic is not needed to determine what is hateful. Get out of here. Yes, it is. Yes, he used words to affect people on purpose. That's the whole point of using words. I love when people say logic isn't needed for X. Cool. Do you have an argument for that? Oh, you don't because you didn't use logic. So you're telling me we don't need logic then? Is that what you're telling me? Fine, PC Joseph. Everything you said is hate speech. And now you're going to get banned because you're using hate speech. So, how do you like that, them and their apples? Because I decide what hate speech is. Do you like that? Do you like when it's used against you? Because we don't need logic. You're using words that are hateful to tell me what you don't agree with, right? Think about it. It shouldn't be illegal, but it's certainly a thing. Good, great. Prove it. Show me a truth table that defines what is or isn't hate speech. There's a show. You might think that this is rather off topic. It isn't. And it's called The Rehearsal. Oh, yeah, we're going there. That's right. If you haven't seen this show, you really should. The season 1, okay? There's 2 seasons. You should watch them both. It's amazing. Nathan Fielder's brilliant. Okay, during the first season of The Rehearsal, there's this woman that is supposedly rehearsing for having a kid. And she keeps telling Nathan things that are satanic. It's satanic. That's satanic. Satanic. It's satanic. And finally he says, why don't you write me a list of things that are satanic so I can avoid doing them? So, yeah, if you think certain things are hateful, why don't you write me a list of what those are so I can know? Yeah, well, All right, so my brain is tired. I'm tired. But emotion, you can see and you heard that I had it. I even yelled at poor Nitty, who I didn't intend to, and maybe he doesn't want to be next to me anymore. I don't know. I'll have to reach out and make sure I'm okay with him. And I will. But it's okay to have passion and feelings. Nothing wrong with that. But we have to temper it with logic and reason. That's hard to do. I know it's hard for me, but I'm responding to the fact that people are like, yay, the guy is dead. He got what he deserved. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Oh, he was advocating for guns, and he got shot by a gun. And it's like, or this one person said, well, I'm not celebrating his death, but whatever, good riddance. I'm like, look, even if like Kent Hovind or whatever, if they drop dead or they get murdered, I'm not going to celebrate that. I'm not. I just don't do that. And if you want to celebrate death like that, I mean, just get out of here. Now, anyways, my head hurt. Do logic. That's, I guess, at the end of the day, is what I'm trying to say, and what I've always said is logic. And if you don't know informal logic, learn it. I mean, it's out. I will help you learn it if you want to. Let me know, and when a person calls for violence against a group of people, that's hate speech. No, it's just calling for violence against a group of people. We don't need to categorize it any further. And that, by the way, is already, I believe, illegal under certain conditions. So show me where Charlie or whoever calls for violence against a group of people and says, hey, let's go hurt this group of people. Show me that, if that's what you're going to define it as. All right. All right. So thanks for listening. I'm leaving the comments up on this one. We'll see what happens, I guess. Like I said, I've personally had to ban somebody, and I might not have a friendship with somebody that I've had a friendship with for a long time because they said, well, I mentioned one of the things they said, but I won't get specific with, it doesn't matter, okay? It's not your problem. Hey, look, if you disagree with me, great, cool, fine, let's talk about it. If you feel up to providing a truth table on what hate is, that would be great. I would love to read through it. I'd like to see your syllogism. I will analyze it live. Well, I'll analyze it unlive and then talk about it live. Or maybe I'll do a recorded video about it. But if you're serious and you really want to do that, please do. But you're going to have to provide the citations. You're going to have to show me what is or isn't hate, and you don't have to connect it to Kirk because it's not about that. It's just about in general, But if you want to prove to me that Kirk was doing stuff that was bad, cool, great. Show me that, and show me what was so bad about it, or whatever you're trying to prove. But it has to be a valid and sound argument, because if you don't have a valid and sound argument, then why the hell should I believe you? Or anyone should believe you. And if we're not using logic, and we recognize that it's just emotion, then maybe we should temper that with logic and reason, because then we won't act on the irrational stuff that emotion can produce. Just an idea. You can't see or hear it? I don't know. All right, people in chat are having their own universe again. Dave, Stewart, I will look into what is going on and try to figure it out. I don't know that I've ever gotten an email from you, but email me, and if you want to, and we'll talk behind the scenes, and we can go through that offline or whatever. I don't know. Because I have no idea. Okay, guys, girls, robots, etc. I wish you nothing but the best. I want you all to use logic and reason, and let's all try to not kill each other over anything at all if we can, but especially over words. Maybe let's not do that. Let's not do that. I mean, can we just I don't know, have civil discussion and debate? Because that's a good thing, I think. And if I disagree with you, let's do it with logic. Let's settle it with a logical argument. And there has to be, rules to that. And I think we can set that up and figure it out, because we're, and if we can't, then somebody else can, because there's people that are smart. There's got to be a better way. There is a better way. Let's use it. Let's encourage each other to be reasonable and logical as best as we can be, especially when we don't agree with the other person. Until next time, be skeptical, and after that, stay skeptical. Use logic. We'll end there. Yeah.